Jeremy stirred, blinking against the harsh, fluorescent lights of an unfamiliar white room. Around him, others were groaning and stirring awake, all strangers to each other. Matthew sat up beside him, rubbing his face. "Jeremy, you awake?" Matthew whispered, eyes scanning the room. "I think so. What is this place? How did we get here?" Jeremy's voice echoed slightly. Before they could answer, a strange metallic clinking sound echoed from a large box in the corner. Curiosity overtook fear. "Guys, what's in the box?" Jeremy asked, cautious yet unable to resist. Matthew grinned. "Only one way to find out." They approached the box and opened it slowly. A sudden squeak came from inside, and all eyes widened. There, swaddled in a bright yellow blanket, was a baby. But not just any baby. This little one had eyes that glittered mischievously, almost as if it knew things it shouldn't. Jeremy coughed nervously. "Is that a baby? What the heck? How is a baby part of this game?" From the shadows behind them, Jihan staggered forward, looking disoriented. He rubbed his eyes and smiled weakly. "Looks like the game just got a lot weirder," he muttered. The rules of madness, a booming voice filled the room, cascading off sterile walls. "Welcome, contestants, to the Squid Game. You will face challenges to test your wit, courage, and endurance. The prize? All the money you can dream of. The cost? Survival only for the strongest." Confused murmurs spread. Matthew eyed the baby. "Hey, do you think the baby is part of the game?" "Weirder things have happened." Jeremy nodded. "Only one way to find out." Suddenly, a buzzer sounded and a screen flickered on, revealing the first challenge. "Badminton of Doom. But we just wanted to play badminton," Jeremy muttered, eyeing the strange net that suddenly emerged. The players were handed rackets, but this was no normal game. The shuttlecock was fast, deadly, and if it hit you, well, let's just say the stakes were high. The babble of playful conversation was replaced by tension, laughter mixing with screams as the shuttlecock whizzed through the air. Matthew's arms burned as he returned volley after volley. "I swear this thing's alive," he shouted. The baby cooed in the box, its eyes scanning the chaotic game, seemingly amused. Bridges and Betrayals Game 2 was announced, the Shaky Bridge. Each contestant had to cross a narrow bridge suspended over a deep pit. It creaked and wobbled dangerously. Jeremy held the baby, which seemed oddly calm. "Step by step, just like Dad taught me," he muttered, recalling an old family saying. Suddenly, someone pushed a loose plank as Matthew was halfway across. He yelped, grabbing the rope desperately. "Who did that?" Jeremy looked around. Suspicion grew. Alliances formed quickly, and some friends started eyeing others with distrust. Jihan whispered to Matthew, "We have to watch each other's backs. But one wrong move would send you plummeting." The baby gurgled, almost laughing. Hide and seek, or hide and pray. The third game was hide and seek. Only the seekers had weapons, and the hiders had little time. Jeremy felt the baby squirming. The small hands suddenly grabbed a tiny rock, and with a flash, it shot out glowing sparks. Everyone froze. "What the? Is that baby some kind of weapon?" Matthew gasped. The baby giggled, clearly enjoying the confusion. Players scurried to find hiding spots, eyes darting nervously. Jeremy whispered to the baby, "Okay, we're in this together. You and me." The game was brutal. One by one, players were called out and eliminated. Final showdown. The Polish pull as tensions rose. The final challenge was announced. A duel to the death on a narrow platform high in the air. Jeremy gripped the baby tightly, sweat pouring down his face. Matthew faced him with grim determination. "May the best player win," Matthew said, blade glinting. Suddenly, the baby squawked, flapping its tiny arms wildly. The platform shook slightly. "Whoa!" Jeremy stumbled. And that moment, Jeremy lunged forward and knocked Matthew's balance. Matthew gasped as he wobbled dangerously at the edge. But just before he could fall, a sudden change. The baby shot a beam of light, stabilizing the platform. "No way," Matthew breathed. They both laughed nervously. Secrets of the baby after the chaos. Jeremy sat alone with the baby. "You're not just a baby, are you?" he said softly. The little one blinked knowingly, then smiled. Jihan joined them, his face serious. This baby is the key to the whole game. Whoever controls it controls the outcome. Jeremy nodded, resolve flooding his veins. Then we have to make sure we use that power wisely. Trust and triumph together. Jeremy, Matthew, Jihan, and the baby faced the last challenge, crossing into the exit room guarded by the Watchers, shadowy figures who could end the game at any moment. They needed cooperation, trust, and quick wit. The baby squeaked playfully, helping them navigate traps and puzzles. Finally, they reached the exit. The game was over. Victory and new beginnings outside. The sun shone brilliantly. The players, battered but alive, stood victorious. Jeremy looked at his friends and the baby. We did it. Together. The baby cooed, stretching tiny arms toward the sky. Squid Squid Game is over, but our bond is just beginning, Jeremy said. They smiled, ready for whatever adventure lay ahead. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the strange arena, a loudspeaker crackled to life. Attention contestants. The game is evolving. New players will join. New rules will be imposed. Adapt or perish. The doors slammed open, and a fresh group of odd characters shuffled in, some grinning devilishly, others trembling with fear. Among them was a peculiar figure, tall, clad in a neon green suit with a mischievous glint in their eye. Jeremy studied the newcomer. Great, just what we needed, more trouble. Matthew grinned wryly. More players, more chaos. Just the way these games like it. The baby watched intently, clutching Jeremy's shirt with surprising strength. Suddenly, a holographic board lit up midair, displaying the next deadly challenge, the maze of mirrors. The objective is simple: make it through the labyrinth. But beware, some mirrors reflect truth, others reflect death. Jihan swallowed hard. Sounds like a nightmare. The maze of mirrors inside the labyrinth, the air shimmered with ethereal light. Every turn presented reflections, some showing alternate versions of themselves, others projecting terrifying images meant to unnerve. Jeremy's voice echoed softly. Stay close and trust what you feel, not just what you see. Matthew nodded. I don't trust anything in here, not even my own reflection. The baby giggled, popping out from Jeremy's arms, crawling toward a mirror. It reached out a tiny hand, and the mirror rippled like water. Suddenly, a figure lunged from the reflection, a shadowy doppelganger. Jeremy lunged to shield the baby, knocking the figure back. No one messes with my team. The other players, panicked, stumbled and bumped into illusions, some disappearing into thin air. It became clear. The maze was no mere spatial challenge. It preyed on fears and memories. Jihan confronted his reflection, which sneered back, whispering his darkest doubts. But gathering strength, he smashed the mirror with a rock. We're not prisoners of our past here, he declared, eyes blazing. The Hunger Game exiting the maze, the contestants found themselves in a cavernous dining hall, but eerily silent. On a long table lay dishes of all kinds, from simple bread to exotic, steaming meals. A new rule echoed through the speakers. You have 1 hour. Eat your fill, or starve for the final trial. But as plates were filled, it became clear. The food was rigged. Each bite carried either tremendous strength or crippling weakness, randomized among players. Jeremy eyed his meal cautiously. Eating's never simple here, is it? Matthew shrugged. Only one way to find out what's on your plate. The baby gurgled mischievously, tugging at Jeremy's sleeve, as if daring him to take a bite first. Midway through, Jihan clutched his stomach and doubled over. The food, it's messing with me. Jeremy steadied him. Stay with us. We finish this together. The Chessboard Massacre. The next challenge was unveiled in stark contrast. A giant chessboard, with life-sized pieces and players acting as both kings and pawns. This isn't just a game of minds, boomed the announcer. Every move comes with real danger. Players were forced to strategize not just to outwit, but to avoid traps hidden beneath chess squares. Matthew whispered, "This is insane. The stakes can't get any higher." Jeremy placed the baby on his shoulder, the little one's eyes scanning the dangerous board below. Jihan stepped forward. Then it's time we play smarter. Alliances shifted rapidly. Players sacrificed each other, baiting moves to survive. At a critical moment, a supposed ally betrayed Jeremy, pushing him into a concealed pitfall. The baby screeched in protest as Jeremy barely caught the edge, pulling himself back. "You don't betray family," he growled. Ghosts of the past amidst the chaos. Jeremy had a moment alone. He whispered to the baby, "I've done things I'm not proud of. If we get out of here, I want to be better." The baby cooed, grabbing Jeremy's finger, seeming to understand. Across the arena, flashbacks unfolded, showing Jihan's haunted memories, family left behind, mistakes made. Matthew looked on, silent but resolute. "We're more than players. This is our test to become something new." Shadows and sabotage as the game progressed. Unknown to the group, one among them worked for the overseers of the games, a saboteur. Late at night, lights flickered. Supplies disappeared. Bonds frayed. Jeremy caught the spy in the act, a cold smirk revealing allegiance not to the game, but to control. "Why betray us?" Jeremy demanded. The spy shrugged. "Control is power, and I answer to the highest bidder." The baby suddenly lunged at the spy, wrapping its tiny fingers around his wrist, squeezing unexpectedly strong. The spy staggered back, eyes wide. Raced to the exit with growing mistrust. The surviving players faced the final trial, a race to the exit, through a gauntlet of traps and deadly foes. The baby, now almost a legend itself, led the way with uncanny intuition. Jeremy shouted, "Stay together. No one gets left behind." Terry, an unlikely ally, nudged Jeremy. "Ready to win this, partner?" Matthew nodded sharply. "For once, we're fighting for more than money." The final choice reaching the last chamber, the players were faced with one ultimate dilemma. A door guarded by the enigmatic frontman. "Only one will leave," he intoned. "Who will sacrifice for the rest?" The baby gurgled, crawling toward the door. Jeremy looked at his friends, steals his gaze. "If we don't do this together, none of us leave." The frontman's cold gaze cut through the room like ice. He fixed Jeremy with a single question. "Who will sacrifice themselves so the others may live?" Silence. Hearts pounding. The baby crawled closer to the door, its eyes shining with a strange light. Jeremy stepped forward, voice steady but heavy. "I'll do it." Matthew shook his head. "No way. We do this as a team. We all get out, or none of us do." Jihan nodded. "We've come this far together. We won't lose each other now." The baby giggled, then suddenly raised a tiny hand as if signaling. The door behind the front man began to slowly open. The true game beyond the door was not freedom but another chamber, flooded with screens displaying every move, every second of their journey. The front man's voice echoed through the speakers. "This was never about simple games. You are subjects in the ultimate test of trust, courage, and humanity." Jeremy glanced at his friends, battered, bruised, but unbroken. The baby nestled in his arms cooed, the tiniest smile hinting at something more. "Survival was just the beginning," Matthew muttered. Breaking the cycle, the front man continued. "You've proven you can survive. But can you break the cycle?" A new challenge emerged, to dismantle the game from the inside by cooperating with each other and outsmarting the controllers. They worked together, hacking terminals, dodging traps set to divide and conquer. Jeremy felt the baby's tiny hands guiding his fingers across a keypad. "This kid's smarter than we thought," he chuckled. The betrayer's redemption, the spy revealed earlier, stepped forward, hands raised. "I was wrong," he said. "This isn't about control, it's about freedom." Matthew eyed him warily but nodded. Together, they disabled the final lockdown systems. Around them, the cold walls began to rumble and shift, crumbling like the facade of their captors. Freedom at last. Light flooded the chamber as the massive gates swung open. Outside, fresh air, blue sky, and the distant sounds of city life greeted them. Jeremy stretched, feeling the weight of the baby in his arms. "Took us long enough." Jihan smiled, tears in his eyes. Matthew laughed. "Squid Squid Game? More like Squid Squid Escape." The baby raised its arms, as if embracing the new world. A new beginning. Weeks later, the group gathered again, now free, but forever changed. Jeremy looked at the baby, now crawling happily across the floor. "The game's taught us a lot," he said. "But the real prize is something no game can take: friendship, loyalty, and courage." Matthew raised a toast. "To new beginnings." Jihan smiled. "And no more babies in games, please." Echoes of the past, though free, shadows lingered. News spread of other arenas, other games, some darker, some more twisted. Jeremy knew their fight wasn't over, but they were ready. "Next time," he said, "we'll be the ones controlling the game. For good this time." The legend lives on. The baby, once the mysterious key to the Squid Squid Game, now became a symbol, a legend whispered among players, that courage and fun can coexist even in the darkest games. And somewhere, in the shadows, the game developers watched, knowing one day the trials would continue. But for now, the players had won. Final words. Jeremy looked at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, a sly smile on his face. "So, what did you think? Ready to play?" The baby gurgled, throwing a tiny wink. "Just kidding. Stay safe, and remember, every game has rules, but you write your own story."